Oh. Your gigantic arm on my back.
My arm?
Yeah, the arm of your chair. You gotta like rotate it.
We'll just sit back
Are we on?
a little. Nah, we're never sure if it's working or not. Did you just break my pencil?
Nope.
Did you just break my pencil?
Nope.
All right,
Nope.
we're on. You legit just broke my pencil. Okay, this is recording, so all of that. All right, so we are just giving Facebook a moment to hop on with us.
Is there an oil for
If
that?
you're catching the replay, Chris
Fixing
just
pencils?
broke my favorite pencil, so not cool, Chris. Okay, so happy Friday. It is Friday Live with Jamie
And Chris?
from Empowering by Design. Thank you so much for joining us. We're super excited to see you guys today. We hope you have great plans for the weekend, but before your great plans get started, we are going to talk about an amazing oil, Sandalwood. And Chris picked this topic. And then in the mail today, this magazine popped up with Sandalwood.
Did they see it?
Okay.
See the little
Yeah,
thing
they're
with
on
the-
this camera over here.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, up.
Yes.
There it says Sandalwood. Right over here. Yeah.
Hawaiian Sandalwood even.
Hawaiian Sandalwood.
Okay, so we're going to be flip-flopping and seeing and making sure people are, hi, Carolyn. Good to see you today. All right, there it is. Let's get started, babe. What do we have?
So we need to talk about Sandalwood, the super oil.
Why?
doTERRA sells two different kinds, first of all.
Which is very confusing, right? How do you know which one to get?
Both. Hello. So there's two different ones. One is from India. That's the traditional sandalwood. It's from East India. The interesting thing is there's a different kind of sandalwood that comes from West India, which is known by a different name called Amyris. And Amyris is actually in one of the kids blends, I believe.
Ooh.
I think it's in one of the new kids blends.
So drop a number one if you have the regular sandalwood. It wouldn't say anything specific. It just says sandalwood. And then you'll know that's the Indian one. So
And
drop
the other
a one
one
if you have
says-
that one.
The other one says Hawaiian sandalwood, which is from
Hawaii. So
shocking.
drop a number two if you have Hawaiian sandalwood, which I think that's the one I like better, or no?
I think so, but I like the Indian one.
I think I like the Hawaiian one better. It has, they have very similar chemical properties, obviously.
Very similar.
But the Hawaiian one, I believe, smells a little bit more like balsamic vinegar. It's a little sweeter.
That's the Indian one.
You think that's the Indian
I
one?
think it's the
Okay,
Indian one.
well, I'm reversed. Maybe
There's-
that's why we
but
can't find her Hawaiian
They
sandalwood.
are very smooth smelling. This is a very guy-friendly scent because it smells
guys.
like a gentle, very wood, almost like a balsa wood kind of scent to it. And it's just an amazing oil. And I wanted to do a little education on this one. And then I started researching it and realized, holy cow, this one is like a super oil that I never knew had all these properties. So I was reading recently, a couple weeks ago, if you have not heard the name Robert Tisserand, he is like one of the gigantic names in aromatherapy.
He's an oil.
He's an oil guru.
Yeah.
But his whole life, he spent, I think, 45 years in the aromatherapy industry. And he has studied with Gadafoss and some of the fathers of aromatherapy. So he is just an amazing resource.
And let me just tell you, he is super, super, super on the side of like less is more.
Conservative use of oils.
Very conservative.
Yeah.
So just know that going in, when you read a lot of his stuff, you'll notice and you'll recognize
And I'm
it.
so glad you mentioned that, because one of the main things that he talks about is how safe sandalwood oil is to use on your skin. So they've tested it with what they call RIP testing, which is repeated insult patch testing. They basically put it on like the inside of a Band-Aid and put it on your skin and leave it there for like 24 hours at a time to see if it causes skin sensitivity. And they've tested this at 10% all the way up to neat, which is 100% oil, and it is not a skin irritant. So this one is one of those that is incredibly safe to use, and they've actually done research on and he had a great article that showed use on warts. So when you think warts, what is the first oil you think of? Oregano or something like that, or frankincense, one of those that's supposed to help with warts. They did a study where they put pure sandalwood oil on warts that were literally like half the size of the end of the finger. I'll show you like this.
Okay.
It was like half the size of the end of the finger. And they were using straight sandalwood oil on it for like, I don't know, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. And the entire wart went away with no scarring. Like I'm telling you, it was a gigantic wart and the whole thing was gone. Whole thing was gone. So it's incredibly safe to use on the skin, but very, very effective. So there are a ton of different ways that you can use this for the skin itself.
Carolyn wants his name again.
What's his name? Oh, Robert Tisserand.
Tisserand.
You got it. Tisserand.
I will type it in.
We'll put it in the comments, so don't worry. Okay, so skin. Another great way to use this is this prevents the overgrowth of skin. So think of dry, flaky skin in conditions like...
We can't say it.
We can say them.
No, we can't say them.
We can say the names of the conditions.
Can you?
Yeah. Things like eczema and psoriasis, where skin overgrows and it gets dry and flaky and thick. This is one of those that helps to prevent overproliferation of those skin cells. And they've tested this pretty thoroughly and usually in a diluted form, but putting it right on those areas to help to mitigate their full expression. Okay?
I love it.
So, and I will say, they did reference that a lot of people that have psoriasis or eczema have stomach issues. They said in particular, the same bacteria that causes ulcers in the stomach, it's called H. pylori, is implicated in a lot of these skin disorders. So always look at the stomach and look at the digestive tract
with
when you have skin issues.
Related.
Always, always, always.
Look at mom. Remember we talked about mom. If mom ain't happy,
is the belly.
Nobody's happy, right?
Here's another one. Acne. Who knows people in their life who struggle with acne?
Yep.
That's like everybody. You know somebody that struggles with acne. So a lot of acne is bacterial. It's like a bacterial infection, either primarily or a secondary infection just from irritation. Is
that why Melaleuca or tea tree works really well?
That's why those work really well. Okay. Sandalwood is actually, and this has been done in laboratory studies, has been shown to inhibit the growth of both bacteria. The two main bacteria, one is a form of staph, it's Staph epidermidis.
Some good stuff.
And the other one is P. acne. P period, because it's got this really long name that nobody can pronounce. The first name is P, and then acnes, A-C-N-E-S, is the name of the, so P period A-C-N-E-S. If you type that in, you'll find out that that's implicated in a lot of these acne issues. So using sandalwood on the face with someone who has acne, very, very helpful in controlling the bacterial challenge so that the body can then get rid of all the rest of it.
So you're saying that it's safe to put on just right on your face?
You can.
Okay.
But I like diluting it.
Yeah.
Even in a light lotion, lotion or a carrier oil.
Okay.
So that's skin. We got acne, we got warts, we got eczema, psoriasis, we got a lot of different issues. And I'm going to tell you, putting it on your skin is not just good for the skin itself.
Yes.
This one is going to help to promote normal blood pressure and heart rate.
Very nice.
Promote healthy blood pressure and heart rate. So, and that's just from transdermal, which just means putting on your skin and letting it absorb, and helps with anxious feelings as well.
Okay. So when we put it on topically, how much are we absorbing?
Up to 70%. And this oil is very resinous. When you try to pour it out of the bottle, it's one of those, it takes a couple minutes for that first drop to come out.
Not as bad as vetiver.
It's not as bad as vetiver, but it is thick. So you got to be patient with this one, or get a dropper top and put it in there. Okay, I got to talk to you about this one really weird thing that I read today. So not only is it good to use this on your skin for your skin, here's a weird thing. Have you ever heard of, I never heard of this before today, psychodermatology? Yeah, weirdness. So inhaling sedative aromas, so things that help you to calm and relax, improves the function of your skin. You can improve your skin by inhaling aromas.
What?
So they've done this with electrical testing in the skin to see if the aromas make a difference. And when you inhale these things, they actually see electrical differences in your skin.
Okay, put a wow face if this is crazy.
Dermatology, psychodermatology, just crazy. So they tested 12 essential oils for their sedative properties. Guess which one came out number one?
Sandalwood?
Sandalwood! Unbelievable. So even just inhaling this one for all of the skin conditions that we already talked about, especially those proliferative ones, this is just amazing, even to put in your diffuser at night, because you're going to be helping yourself in terms of getting better sleep. So we will talk about sleep right now, because using this at night is really, really good.
And we know we have people
really good. People struggle with sleep.
We did a whole thing, I think, last Friday on sleep,
we
right?
Did.
And then we come to find out our aunt has been struggling with sleep. So we got to just keep digging, and we got to find something that's going to.
All right, I found a new blend.
Okay.
One I've never heard of before.
Auntie Joe.
Sleep. Auntie Joe, this is for you. Okay. 3 drops of sandalwood, 2 drops of juniper berry, love that one, and a drop of rose.
Oh. Chris named this.
Now, because sandalwood is not the cheapest oil in the world, rose definitely isn't the cheapest oil in the world. So we're going to call this one Sleeping in the Penthouse. Yeah, that blend's called Sleeping in the Penthouse. So sandalwood, juniper berry, and rose. Rose only comes in a diluted form. Hey, it's Auntie Joe. We just talked about your blend. It's called Sleeping in the Penthouse. It's very presidential up here. So sandalwood, juniper berry, and rose. So they've studied that one scientifically. That's a great sleep aid. Take it away, honey. Let's see. We talked about psychodermatology. Oh, here's a good one. So people that have been through cancer, radiation treatment. When you've been through radiation treatment, they put this whole beam of radiation on a certain part of your body where the cancer is. What's in the way of that first is your skin. So the skin often gets completely blown out. It gets not charred, but it gets red, inflamed, and what we call friable, which means when you just lightly touch it, it wants to fall apart. So it gets very, very fragile. Now, using a blend of sandalwood with turmeric is really good at promoting healthy cell growth, so helping the cells to get back to normal when they're damaged. And radiation damage is severe and long-lasting, so you need anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, that's the one. So you need these things in there to help these cells recover. So turmeric, and sandalwood, it's not going to smell the best because of the turmeric. It's a little stinky. But using that in those areas is going to really advance the healing process. Topically, which can take months, but it's going to shorten that time frame. More turmeric than the sandalwood. I want to say like a 2-to-1 ratio. It's not exactly critical, but also dilute that, put it in a cream or lotion, something that's going to hydrate that area because those areas dry out. Maybe a good smelling strong oil that will kind of overpower the turmeric a little bit may help. Yeah, you can even use something like copaiba. Rhonda's on too. Soothing. Hey, Rhonda. Okay, we talked about acne and warts. Oh, here's a big one. So in 2017, this pharmaceutical company named Santalis actually received approval, and they got let's say it this way. They received a patent approval, so they got a registered patent with the US to use sandalwood to treat all kinds of infections in the body dealing with this bacteria called Clostridium. So Clostridium is a particularly nasty group of bacteria. The one that's the worst of the group that so many people deal with is called C. diff. Lots of people deal with C. diff. It's a raging infection in your gut. We all have that bacterium in us, but when there's a major imbalance in your gut, that one overgrows and causes life-threatening diarrhea. I mean, it's horrible. It can kill you. So C. diff is a big deal. So Santalis received approval to use sandalwood in treatments dealing with Clostridium. That's a major breakthrough. So that's just in the last couple of years. Pure? Well, that remains to be seen. What they've actually done is come out with standardized extracts of sandalwood, because in the pharmaceutical world, you can't deal with things that vary from time to time. And essential oils are not just one chemical, they're a mixture. Does the mixture stay the same with every batch? Nope. Always little differences from every batch because of the way the plants grow and because of what they're producing. And plants are all different. They produce different amounts. So they've actually gotten standardized extracts from that, and they use that in these treatments. So that's the way they've been able to do it. Cool. So yeah, it is very anti-inflammatory, very antioxidant, very antimicrobial. Talking about sandalwood today, for those of you who are just hopping on. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. So this is like my new favorite oil. And remember, this is guy friendly. This smells really good. And the one we get from Hawaii is from this mountain reserve called...
And if you got your new Living magazine...
Keaklahakala. I don't know how to pronounce that. I think that's Hawaiian for I just sneezed. So God bless you. Kealakalakukua. I have no idea how to say that. But anyway, doTERRA has partnered with the Hawaiian government to preserve this whole plot of land where they're growing sandalwood trees. The funny thing is, I don't want to say funny thing, sandalwood trees take about 30 years to grow to the point where you want to harvest them. So this is a very long-term plan.
It's a long time.
This tree in particular has been way over harvested in India, in Australia, in Hawaii. So it's almost on the protected species list. doTERRA said, you know what, we really need to do this carefully. So their Hawaiian sandalwood right now only comes from trees that have already fallen and are lying on the ground, or they're a dead tree that's still standing. Because to harvest the oil, they have to cut the whole tree down, and the oil comes from the wood in the center of the tree. It's called the heartwood. So they basically have to grind up the whole tree into sawdust and then distill the oil out of the tree, the little bits of tree, wood pulp. So it's a very delicate process, but it destroys the tree completely. There's no other way to harvest the oil.
And it's a good time. So doTERRA just went, they had a co-impact sourcing trip. And if you got, actually, no, it was their presidential diamonds. They all went to Hawaii and they all planted sandalwood trees, which is really cool.
They're growing these trees en masse, and they're growing them in a way. So what they're doing is they're taking out these dead trees from the forest floor. They're actually inhibiting the growth of new trees because there's so many of them laying down. So they're using those to produce the oil they need now. And then they're planting trees that won't be harvested for another 30 years, because it's not till about year 30 that you have enough bulk that it's worth cutting the tree down to take the oil out. So they're in it for the long term, and they're doing the same thing committed to sustainability. They're doing the same thing in India, partnering with the people there, so they're not over harvesting, that they're only using little bits of it. That's another reason why it's so expensive, is because they have reduced the output and the demand is very high. Gotcha. So it's a very precious oil. Well worth it, and you're only using very small amounts. This is another reason why we say to dilute it, because a little bit can go a long way, and you don't want to overuse it because it's a pricey oil. I think that's all we have. Amazing oil. It's like my new favorite right now, just because of all the cool properties.
You liked sandalwood quite a bit.
I've always loved sandalwood. Right? I really like diffusing it at night too. It is part of my sleepy blends that I put in my diffuser.
So if you missed, check out the what did Chris name it?
Oh,
the sleeping in the penthouse blend, a nice sleep blend. Are you saying that topically and internally? I mean, topically and aromatically?
In a diffuser? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
that can be used in both.
You can do both.
Because sandalwood and rose in particular are extremely good for the skin.
Awesome.
They're extremely soothing, and they help things to heal. And I will tell you, I've started to use sandalwood in my lotion for my skin on the backs of my hands, because I get very dry from wearing gloves every day. And it's so important to keep your skin intact and hydrated, because dry skin does what? Cracks, and then it lets what in?
Bacteria.
Nasty bugs. So you don't want that stuff in your body. Protect your skin. It's important.
So thank you so much for joining us today. Sorry we went a little long, but this was just such an amazing oil to talk about today. So we hope
we couldn't help ourselves.
You learned a little bit. And if there's anything that we can help you guys with, just reach out to us and let us know. And have an awesome weekend.
Enjoy, guys.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care. Bye.